Hello there. Welcome to another stream of more JFS. Maybe some more stuff later. Who knows? So yeah, got a few things to update on the server. Not much to update on in real life, just more work. Actually, I do have a potential update for work, which is pretty good. But on the JFS, as you can see on the title, we are going to be doing working on a JsanoKart track, which was on our list. I'm going to join the server, which I guess cuts off the music, and transition over. Cool. Is this? Yeah, it is. So, yeah. Here we are. Just adjusting the screen a little bit. It looks like Red Star and Blurry Face are both AFK. But I guess we can start here. The storage area, that's a little loud. The storage area is coming on quite nicely, as you can see. Over here we got all our color blocks, starting with terracotta, and then it's also going to be glass, concrete, wool, and I think dye. I was thinking about putting flowers up too, but I don't think there's 16 flower colors, or unique flower colors. Then over here is all the wood blocks. I'm going to extend that in time to include stairs and slabs and fences and such. As you can see, we got some more cats. I tamed this black cat near the witch hut that's that way, a little ways that way. And then I bred 2 of the cats, which gave me this kitten. So, let's see. These are all of our items. Those are all the rest of the blocks. These are all the player heads over here. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. So, and then over here, we have our bed to sleep. And then we also have our smelting setup. Fuel goes back here. I'm using dried kelp blocks for now. And then, of course, cooking food, cooking ores. I need to expand to include these 2, but yeah. And then up here is level 3 of the storage system. It's effectively done. I have all the main blocks set up here. As you can see, there's a couple miscellaneous single blocks I got left. I do have room for expansion, but I don't have enough blocks to expand with, unless I want to do, walls and slabs and stairs and such. But basically, the next step to all this is going to be, I'm going to adjusting the mic first. Trying to get to a good spot. There we go. But the next step is going to be making an easier way up and down these 3 levels. So, next stop, we'll go to the Temple of the Cat, because the Temple of the Cat has not only opened, but been completed by the people involved, Shasson, Red Star, and Nixer. And they all streamed it on Saturday, so that was pretty cool, and Shasson included it in a video on his YouTube channel. Shasson's now streaming too, so that's pretty cool. He's got a brand new microphone and everything, so I don't have to worry about hearing my voice echoing back at me through his mic, which is good. On the other hand, one of the weird things about his microphone is that I think if he turns his head or moves to the side or something, it's got like directional audio for that. So if he turns his head or moves to one side or something like that, the audio goes into one ear only, which is a little bit weird, but not too crazy. So yeah, this is the temple. As you can see, Red Star brought a lot of stuff back, so I'm gonna have to. I can put all that in storage, but this is the temple itself. Up here is like a big old library full of books and vines and such, trying to make it look like it was here for a little while. And if you go through this way, you go down to these trial areas. There's some steak. Go down in here. Then we reach step 1. So there was a bit of a mistake here. I was going to originally use the bookshelves that are coming in 1.20, but I got impatient, basically. So I just put these stone blocks up with signs on them, and I added this hopper. The way the hopper is supposed to work is the items in here are supposed to be enough. They're supposed to be one item off from opening the door, basically. However, it seems like written books give off a larger redstone signal than a regular block does, because if I put this carpet in, nothing happens. And then nothing happens there, but if I put these 3 diorite in, that's what's supposed to happen. But, like I said, written books apparently are more expensive, or stronger redstone output, so it's kind of weird. But I guess I'll put this in here. But I'll go through Red Star's room first. Red Star's task was simple. All he has to do is find the key. As you can see, there's chests all over the place, filled with different planks, and he has to find the correct one that helps him escape. So there's planks of all types, except for oak, which there was just the one oak plank, I think right here in the middle. And then he brings it over here and puts it into the hopper, which has the same system where it's one item away from opening the door. So he throws the item in, and the door opens. However, in this section, each of these barrels had like a bunch of different things in them, and I'll go through the entire course here. There's dirt in this one, and then you go up here, there's stairs, there's bamboo, flint, trees, mob drops, and then in here I think was the key. There's an LOL. Yeah, and here was the key, and you can see all kinds of other things in here. More slabs, walls, dirt and granite. And then here you would have it drop into some water, and as you can see there's a couple pistons to help Nixer, which I'll get to his in a minute. But once he finds the key, he comes over here and tosses it into the hopper. And I think there was a hint here for Shawson as well. However, for some reason, this door did not work. And I believe it's because there was not enough items in the hopper to trigger the door opening. So yeah, it looks like, or maybe you can kind of see it behind me, the redstone lighting up in there. If I throw a book in there, it'll open. But yeah, apparently the amount of items that were in here was not enough to open the door. So it looks like he needed 2 more items to open the door for some reason. So that was annoying. And basically I just told Red Star to just break the door open with his hand. Because, yeah, apparently there was not enough items in the hopper. Which I think it worked fine initially, but this time it did not. So these all have barrels in them and chests. And if you go up here, you would find this, this shulker, which had the treasure room key, or a lever, I think, to get out. Something like that. Yeah, it was a lever. The design of the room, as you can see, there's these amethyst blocks on 3 of the 4 corners. This one does not, which indicates it's probably this chest. But yeah, he found that one, was able to get down and out, use the lever on the door to escape. So yeah, I don't know why this one was different compared to the others. It was probably because I think this is 631, and then if I go in here, this would be 531. So yeah, it is 1 block off. So it would be 1 block plus the key. That would allow it to work properly. So I guess it ended up being 2 blocks off. So this is Naxer's. Naxer's course is just parkour. I can complete this. I did extensive playtesting of all of this, which is what aggravates me the most, because stuff like this I'll get to. As you can see, keep that in mind. Up, up, down, down. Let me go up here. Now this point, you're supposed to bounce off of the slime block that's under here, and it would bounce you up there. But in case you mess up on that, I create a failsafe, which is this little checkpoint area. Then you come across here. I'm not the parkour genius like Naxer is. Oh, I got caught in the opening there. I promise I can complete this. Up, up. Like that. And then you go across these, which Shasan has to place down. There's a little gap in the area here. So Shasan would place these slime there. And then Naxer goes up here. To this point, there's another sign there that says keep your head up, which basically is supposed to be my way of telling Red Star to look up when going through the 3rd part of the course. Now here, Naxer jumped on that block there. He wasn't really supposed to do that. I tried my best to Naxer-proof this. But I guess I didn't do too well on that, because the intended jump is to go over here. And then you have to do this round the corner jump, which I can get like once every 1,000 attempts. Ooh, I almost had it there. But yeah, he landed over there, which basically like skipped the entire portion of the course, which for most of this I managed to Naxer-proof it, but that one bit of oversight was a bit much. I think I'm turning too much. Oops, didn't even make the block there. So for Naxer's part of the course, I would give it like a 99% grading. For Red Stars, I'd give it like a 90 because of that one mishap there. Oops, didn't even jump that time. Well, you get the picture. Like I said, I can do it like once every so many times. In here was the treasure room keys and I think a lever for Naxer to escape. I put these chests in to like give the option to distribute the treasure room keys to the other 2 players, but yeah, you can just give it to each other at the end. Well, that's not a big deal. So this is Shastan's side. For this one, he had to solve 3 different puzzles. The first puzzle was to just shoot the buttons. One button gave Shastan a hint for Red Star, which was to look for the oak plank. And then this button here spits out a lever to open the door. There was also some slime blocks in there that Shasan would give to Nixer here. Then we get to this one. This one pissed me off the most because, like I said, I did a lot of extensive playtesting. And I knew the code to open the door. But I put it backwards on the sign up here. The sign says up, down, down. This is backwards. It says up, down, up, down. So you can see the door's closed there. So I suppose maybe Shasan would have figured it out eventually. Maybe. But he kind of just on stream he kind of just sat there and watched and waited to see if I guess would help him out. But he eventually just took one of the levers off and used it on the door itself. So the redstone behind this works. I'll show you the redstone. I believe it's behind... Nope, it's behind this block, I think. Or I filled it in completely. I might have filled it in... Yeah, I think I filled it in completely. But this is how the redstone works. For each part of the code that is lever up, you have these repeaters. And for each lever that is down, you have a redstone torch. See, there. And then the redstone basically comes together here. The repeater extends the signal, and then comes around to the door, which is marked by that torch. We'll get to this in a minute. But, yeah, so the redstone portion of this worked. It's just I have these, what I'm calling typical Dean moments, where I just kind of make a silly mistake that kind of ruins the whole thing. So the redstone works, my brain doesn't, basically. So, and like I said, I did a lot of testing of this to make sure the mechanics of everything work. But the one thing I didn't test was that the hint matched the task. So this one, luckily, worked perfectly. One of Red Star's hints, was a bunch of numbers for Shasan to do here. This is the clock puzzle, where you have to turn the arrows to a certain number, a certain part of the clock. And in here is the redstone. So as you turn the dial on the clock, it emits a stronger redstone signal. So in order for all of this to trigger properly, you gotta extend the length of the redstone like this. So like the code here, if I remember correctly, it's 6521. So for this one, it's just one stone block to reach the repeater. And I guess all of this entire signal is flipped, so all of this would be on. I can turn the whole thing. Let me just close this. I think, yeah, you can see all the redstones on here, all the way to the door, except for the torch. So yeah, this, you have one stone block for 1, 2 stone blocks for 2, and the redstone torch goes on the block before the final one, the second to last block. So this is 5, this is 6. So when you turn the dial, it should be 6. And as you see, that signal is now off. But the signal overall going to the door is still on. So you got to turn off all of the redstone in here to activate it. So we flip this around to 5. Slip this around to 2. And I guess the whole thing opens anyways. Yeah, this kind of an issue on my part. I think that's because this one needs a repeater, I think. Because the signal's too long. Yeah. Yeah, if I put a repeater, like, here, I think, then the whole thing would work perfectly, because this whole path is too long for this one to matter. So, it actually doesn't work the way it's supposed to, but it works well enough, I guess. So yeah, and then once you complete the course, you come through here, through this little mazy bit. This is a cave. If you go down here, you get, like, deeper cave that I've never explored, or maybe I have. This is cave that I spruced up, added, I think I added the grass. I forget if it was added or naturally generated, but then you come up here to this part of the cave. I think there were a couple other caves around here that I covered up, and then you go to the treasure room. You toss the treasure keys into the hopper, which again is 3 keys off from opening the door. So 1, 2, 3, door opens. So that works. I just need to keep in mind that the written books give off a higher redstone signal, because if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if I just do this, it opens. So, matter of fact, I think if I just do this, nope. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it needs at least 6 with the book. So yeah. And in there was some totems of undying with everybody's name on it, as well as the let me move some stuff around. OBS still doesn't show me chat. It just forever loads, so I gotta have Twitch up on the other screen there. But yeah, you exit through here. There's a pickaxe that lets you escape, and then a sign that points you to home, which is just over the hill here. So yeah, on Red Star's side, the mechanics worked, but I forgot. I guess I was 1 item short. I'm pretty sure it worked initially, so I think what I might have done was accidentally left out one of the blocks. I might have removed one too many blocks, and I was like, what's this doing here? And then just placed it somewhere. And with Shawson's side, the redstone worked, but it was just the hint that screwed everything up. So yeah, I'm going to eventually clean all that up. I'm at least going to get all the items out of there, and maybe I'll reuse that, repurpose it for something else in the future, but right now it will be dormant for now. So but yeah, now we're going to get to the main event. There's actually another thing I gotta update on, but we may get to that eventually. I'll just go through the one real life update that I gotta mention. First off, I got time off for UHC. I'm basically just gonna leave work early that day, like I did for last season. So that's all good. Oh yeah, I took out the tree farm up here. I think everything's cleaned out over there. And this spot used to be all stone, but it's all grass now. So it's a little bit prettier. But yeah, the real life update that I was going to mention is we've hired a couple new people at work. Just not the big news, but they were talking about stuff. And I'll just put these in here for now. I'm going to need some of these. And the general manager, who was the one that was away on leave for a little while, he's back now. He mentioned, which way do I want to go for this? He mentioned that we might be going from bi-weekly paychecks to weekly paychecks, which is very exciting for me because that makes budgeting so much easier for me. Last year when I lived in Minnesota, my job did weekly paychecks, and it was much easier to budget for stuff and keep up on things because each week I could just the bills are divided amongst each week now, and I can devote this paycheck to rent, next week's paycheck goes to one or two bills, and then the next paycheck goes to a few more, and the remaining paycheck might not go to anything. And what also makes it good is if I ever mess up on my budgeting, or if I just use up all the money on budgeting and bills and whatnot, another paycheck's just a few days away instead of a whole nother week, So, because with this paycheck I budgeted kind of poorly. I bought a couple things for the apartment, which is almost fully furnished. But I also spent some money on food I should not have. A Grubhub kind of food, not groceries. Groceries is kind of important. But it was kind of a stack-up effect where last paycheck went almost completely towards rent and I think one or two other bills, so I had basically no money for the entire 2 weeks until the next paycheck, which meant that I couldn't I do the factor meals, which are, I've explained that before, but yeah, because I was doing the factor meals and because of the whole spending the majority of my money on rent and such, I did not have enough money to do. Ooh, Red Star's not here though. Interesting. So, because of the lack of funds, oh no, some of the frogs escaped. Because of the lack of funds, I had to skip a week of factor meals, and because I had to do that, that basically meant, man, there's frogs everywhere. That basically meant that I had to, get food the old-fashioned way, which I bought some groceries, but I also Grubhubbed, a little too much, and coupling that with a couple other, buying a coffee table and a few other purchases, all my bills are taken care of, but now I'm gonna have a couple bucks left over until next Thursday. So how long has this been here? I feel like I've seen it, but I didn't really pay attention to it before now. I don't know what that is on the back side. That's definitely Shawson. That's Winter Shawson. Oh. He does not rest. His only goal in life is to kill salmon. Well, I'm not a salmon, so... Oh, he's wearing a salmon jacket. Nice. Is this supposed to be a fin, then? Maybe? Yeah. I see. I expect to see Shawson out here. Very scary. So yeah, having weekly paychecks from here on is going to be... Well, it's supposed to kick in within the next month or so, maybe. I'm just going to keep it in my head that it's not a guarantee, so I'm not going to expect it to be guaranteed. But if it does happen, it's going to be so much nicer, because I can properly manage stuff. So... So yeah, that's like the one life update. I'm still looking to get a car. I should expect my student loan money to arrive within the next week by, like, not this Friday, but next Friday is what I'm guessing. So assuming that that is the case, then once that money arrives, I will attempt to buy a car. In which the plan is, if that works out, I will get that car and then use the remaining money to, like, pay off probably one of my credit cards, make a big old payment to a credit card, and then every other student loan payment from here on afterwards is just going to go towards paying everything off. I'm just going to dump all of the student loan money into one thing until it's paid off, and then whatever's left over is going to be dumped into another thing, and until that's paid off. And then in doing that, that will make finances a little bit easier, because that'll be one less thing to pay for. So, and the plan is to focus on things that I can't tap into. Like, I still have my Upstart loan that I gotta take care of, and then, like, that's an old, I think 2019 or something. I forget when I got that, but that's gonna be paid off. So once that's paid off, then I'm gonna turn my attention to another thing, and then another thing, until all I have left to pay off is, like, credit cards, which is stuff that I would, most likely tap into. My new credit card is still put aside for other bills, so that one has to kind of receive some attention each month, but beyond that, like, that's the intention, and we'll see if that works. So, in the event that I don't get a car, then paying off all that stuff is going to be number one priority. So I'm basically going to pay off all debts now or with the next thing. So yeah, what we're doing right now is getting a bunch of ice, because we are working on a JsanoKart track, and that is going to be pretty neat. And hopefully we can get some races going once it's completed. It's a pretty neat location. If you watch streams before, you may have seen me wander across this, like, large cavernous opening with a dripstone cave inside. We are using that location as the racetrack, where the route of the track takes you through that cavern. So I think it's going to be kind of straightforward. I think there's going to be 2 shortcuts and maybe a couple speed up areas. The speed up areas are going to be, or a speed boost, I should say. The speed boost areas are going to be used with blue ice, which is apparently faster than regular packed ice. So yeah, I'm going to collect a bunch of ice for now, and then we'll head over there and start working on that. Oh yeah, mobs can spawn on packed ice. Yep. I have 1 regular ice. So yeah. What I'm hoping to do, what I'm hoping to accomplish with buying a car, I kind of feel like it's going to unlock a lot for me. Not just in terms of transportation, which is obvious. But like, I could work more hours just by you know, driving to work instead of walking. Because walking to work takes about 40 to 45 minutes. It's 2 miles. Which isn't terrible. I've walked way farther. But it's still doing a number on my feet. My feet hurt a lot these days. So, but yeah, having a car would allow me to work more hours because I can just drive to work instead of walking. I'm not expecting to, like, you know, double my hours or anything. I'm just planning on working, like, you know, working during the times that I would be walking to work. That's the plan for that. And then, along with that, you know, I can shop at Walmart instead of the local grocery stores here. Walmart would be a money saver because I get lower prices, and with the price of everything just skyrocketing these days, I'll take whatever money saving methods I can get. So get out of here. This blue ice will be useful. So yeah, that's the plan. I also feel like it will unlock, you know, more stuff in general. Like, having a car might allow me to, like, do some filming stuff, even though I don't really have a proper film camera for anything, but I at least want to finish one of the stories I was doing during my digital cinematography classes. I want to at least get that done. And if with a car, I'd be able to at least, like, film on location instead of in here. I just feel like I would have more freedom to do stuff, and thus more motivation, if that makes sense. I need one more regular ice to turn into packed ice, even though there's probably some here already. Yep. So, I need 5 more now. There we go. Let's find another spot. I don't want to take down any of these massive ones. I just kind of want to focus on some of the smaller options here. I don't know if anyone else experiences the same thing, but you ever feel like I easily could do film work without a car, just by filming at home. You know, if I easily could do a number of things just at home without, you know, needing a car. However, something in my brain tells me that it would be more worth it, I guess, to, like, do these things with a car. It's like it's almost like I'm making an excuse for myself, maybe, but, like, I'm like, if I just had a car, I could do all these things, but at the same time, like, I can do all these things without a car. it would just be a little, I guess, a little more difficult, a little less fun. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But I feel like that happens to me quite often, where it's like I kind of make an excuse for not doing things, even though I easily could. But the one thing I'm missing is enough of a, I guess, demotivator for me to, like, disregard it or to, put it off. This ice spikes? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, no. Oh yeah, I was looking for these two. These fancy ones. Get these out of here. Get out of here. There we go. Oh. Thank you. That's blue ice? Nice. I think I got that from one of the glaciers out there. Oh, fox. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. It was something about UHC. Pretty excited for it. Not sure what strategy I'm gonna do. Part of me still wants to. Part of me wants to try hard because I'm like a distant third behind Asus and Shostin on the leaderboard. So it's like I at least want to keep up with them. But there's also a part of me that's like, what about the Never Cave strat? So who knows? Who knows what y'all do? I think we'll have to wait and see. I think that's the best way to put it. We'll have to wait and see. But it should be fun. Either way. I guess the primary concern, like, I think if I were to team with Mukluk, then I would totally do the Never Cave strat, because I feel like it would be the most interested in that idea. Otherwise, I would probably try hard. Yep. So, I'm still listening to my old YouTube videos while at work. Very, very interesting. Pretty cringe in some places. Some of my opinions on things, and how badly I was at explaining stuff. Two things that was like actively bugging me while listening to him was like, one, I would explain trivial concepts in some places. I don't know if I have a good example, but like sometimes I would just like I went on a little explanation of how a hurricane works, and I guess like anybody who's not around, you know, a hurricane-prone area wouldn't know how they work, but then it leads me into issue number 2, which is I sucked at explaining things because I was so like absent-minded that I would either get distracted or my explanations would just take a painfully long time because I'm like speaking really slowly for some reason. It's like I was struggling to maintain my thoughts or something. It was so weird. I was like just explain it, guy. Or, like, you could not explain it because it's not something, like... it's such a basic concept or whatever. It was so kind of cringe, but pretty entertaining. It's also entertaining hearing me, like, talk about all these, like, naive plans and ideas that I had. That tree? Are you a tamed fox? Sorry, I'm... Who do you belong to? Somebody tamed this fox. Right? But, we don't know who you belong to. It's probably whoever, went here. I shouldn't... Oh, igloo. I shouldn't be here. But... Oh, there's no thing down here. I'm taking these. I definitely should because I'm getting kind of sidetracked being in this village. But yeah, it's interesting hearing all the stuff I talked about and like all these crazy plans I had. And I keep going like, nope, that didn't work out, did it? You know, but I'm gonna go do this, and now I'm like, no, you're not. And then a few episodes later, you hear me say, yeah, so that plan fell through for these reasons. I'm like, yeah, yeah, they did. What is that? Okay, let's get distracted a little bit. Let's go see what this is. What else was I gonna say about it? Oh, I came across a comment between myself and Shas in one of my videos where we were preparing for UHC season 16, and I bet this is this the Dakota sign? But yeah, it was Shaston was like speaking, he was arguing against separated teams, or was it find a partner? I think it was find a partner. No, it was separated teams, because that's what we did for season 16. We did both that and cities. So he was like arguing for cities and against separated teams, and I was like on the opposite side, like basically saying to each their own, but I don't like this cities idea, because I think I was concerned with like the integrity of UHC or something, like the core values of it. I felt like something that was too gimmicky wasn't going to work out, and or was going to like hurt the integrity of the UHC, as if that mattered to anybody. But another funny thing about it was, like, after season 16, like if you find that video and then you scroll down a couple episodes, you see best UHC ever kind of video where I was like reviewing season 16 and going, yeah, this was the most exciting UHC we've had to this point. And I find that highly amusing, because I was so against it going into the UHC, and then was just like, you know what? It's not so bad. It's actually very exciting. So I found that was pretty funny. And yeah, over the years I've become less against gimmicks, because I too am not burnt out, but like I understand that other people don't care as much about it anymore, and I've kind of followed suit, or I'm just kind of like not as interested as I used to be. Like, I'm more willing to do silly stuff, like the never cave strat. But you know, there's still a bit of try hard in me, considering I'm like 3rd on the leaderboard. How high up is this? I think I've been up here before, but Oh, it's going to be something. It's just not anything yet. Okay, I won't pry any further then. But yeah, I found that to be kind of funny. Just see me go. Yeah, I don't like the idea of cities. I remember thinking in my head at one point, when thinking about the gimmick, I think the idea was to have the entire map be one giant city. Was like the original concept. And, yeah, that's why, I think that's why I hated the idea. Ooh, stuff. Nope. What do we get? Some armor. Ooh, that's good armor. A couple bows, I can repair them. Apparently, whoever was here didn't want these, so they just threw them out. So, so I'll take them. What do we got? Weather's Shack. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of a boring banner. Weather's Master. Okay, I thought I was going to say Weather's Portal or something. So is he making this? Is he making a giant billboard, or is that going to be something else? All right, let's actually go back. Not waste any more time. I know that the ice that we got is not enough, but I want to show the stuff. So I'm also at this point in the video, in my videos. Well, first off, I found out that I have to do a realignment of episodes because around the 220 mark, my episode numbers were way off, and like I had skipped a couple numbers in there, and somehow I only ended up being like one number off. So I have to dial everything back by one number, and that's not counting like that does not include the double episode 18s, which I'm keeping because I don't know. I guess that's just I'm keeping that as a reminder of how derpy my episode numbers were, I guess. That I managed to screw it up that early on. Hello. So, but yeah, I'm in the era where we started our factions, our nations era. Interestingly enough, there seems to be, I guess, a video that I never uploaded where the origin of Switzerland, which was my nation, because it was like all of a sudden, like one of the episodes is just like me claiming territory with my banners, and then the next episode I'm like, here are my territories of Switzerland. It's like, I don't think I ever gave any context to how the whole thing came about during the time. But yeah, it started out as a prank on Muckluck by Ding Chong Flux. And then I think I left a sign that said, like, I'm being like Switzerland and staying out of this or something like that. I'm neutral. And then from there, somehow it spiraled out of control into everybody. I'm not sure how it went from there, but somehow, like, everybody just kind of started going, I have a nation too, and I have a nation too. And then I'm pretty sure during an episode that I had recorded but scrapped, I was talking about being Switzerland, but I kept saying Sweden instead of Switzerland. And so eventually I was just like, screw it, I'm combining the two into Switzerland. And that's how the origin of that name began. I forget where I put my bones. That's not it. That's clicking off the screen entirely. moved it somewhere. Let's go up here and put the rotten flesh up in this chest. Boop. And then we'll leave. Oh yeah, I bought a Dakota face at Shoptown. Because who doesn't want a Dakota face? Alright, let's actually go to the JsanoKart track. I guess I'll just talk about it on the way over. Because, well, I do gotta show it off too. No, I'll show it off later, another time. But, I completed the Pokemon gym for the gym leader stuff. And, advertised it and everything. I spent a few hours, like, working on... I spent a few minutes working on the pre-challenge thing. And then, like, a few hours, like, just designing the base itself. The idea in mind was to make, like, a fort out of trees. Where it kind of looked like a forest from the outside. But when you go inside, it looks like a fort. With a couple buildings inside. And then I called it complete, and I put a post on Discord saying, the Leaf Gym is complete. And then, like, a few days later, I think I watched back one of my streams where I read the book and decided which Pokemon type I was going to do. And the type I chose was the grass type, not the leaf type. And that set me off. And I was frustrated with that. So I took the post down and decided that I'm going to kind of update it a little bit. So I started working on that. But I got a bit of reassurance for it. Because, like, I guess grass type is kind of vague, because Pokemon are, from Pokemon of that type have, you know, they're different types of plant-based organisms, right? You know, leaves and trees and such. And, like, yeah, I suppose I should have known that as well. Because I'm not completely ignorant of Pokemon, even though I don't, like, fully immerse myself in it. You know, I've dabbled in it here and there to the point where I have a pretty good idea of what of what I'm talking about for the most part. But somehow I managed to convince myself that the name was Leaf type instead of Grass type. Maybe Leaf type just sounds better to me, which is why my brain was like, yeah, let's go with that. But either way, I am going to do an update on it and fix it. So here we are at the JsanoKart track where a spider is on the perimeter. Get out of here. I shall place a torch here. I'm going to get rid of these because they do not belong. I should just torch up the entire edge of this to here. So yeah, this is the JsanoKart track. As you can see, I've started working on it. I'll take you on a lap around the course. This is the little hut I'm working out of. It is the JsanoKart Dripstone Speedway headquarters. Put these in here because I don't need them. And we'll place this down. So, let's sleep. Let me refresh that. Just see what's going on. Okay. So, the start-finish line is going to be somewhere along here in this area. This is kind of where the track kind of comes together. So this side is going that way. This side is going that way. But I think the start-finish line is going to be here, I believe. Because this is like the straightest part of... Yeah, this area is the straightest part of the track, is this section here. So everything else is pretty curvy. But basically, you would start here, and you would come up and go around the island. And right here is the first shortcut, which you just cut through here. Otherwise, you would go around the outside here, in which this entire section, as you can see I have it outlined, is going to be ice. And then it's going to cut in here, get a little bit more narrow, and come around to this point, where it's going to basically meet back with the track here. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a divider or not. I probably should, because I can guarantee you somebody's going to go that way, which is the wrong way. But then you come around this way and into the Dripstone caverns. Basically come around the edge here. And then at this point is going to be shortcut number 2, where you cut straight through that way. But otherwise you come around here, go over this little gap, basically around the entire edge of this place, around this corner, and then right about here is where the shortcut would come through, right to this point. Then you come this way, over the gigantic chasm, right here. I think it goes somewhere. I don't think it goes very far down here. I think it does, actually. I haven't explored all of it. But then you come around here, and then you'll hit this big, long straightaway to the start-finish line again. So, pretty cool. So yeah, I guess we'll place the ice that we have while we're here. I think I want to start out. Where's my blue ice? Oh, there it is. I'll put the blue ice away. I only have 12 blue ice. I thought I grabbed more. Cool. So I think I'm going to finish this outline over here first, because I don't really want anybody to go out there. So yeah, I'm just going to do a straight line here. It still amuses me that the underwater sounds play even if you're like standing in a 1x1 block of water. I always found that to be amusing. Like, you can hear the distant crumbling of a, you know, something in the in the distance while you're standing in a puddle. Alright. So yeah, it comes out to this point. And then the rest of this is pretty well closed off. So here I will probably split around this, maybe. So we would kind of do this, and I would probably have kind of a wide turn area here, like so. And yes, there will be guardrails, so we don't have anybody flying off into the water here. But it'll come out to about this point. So yeah, there will be a split here, I think. And then I'm going to have basically a pretty wide runoff in this area. Probably until here, maybe? Because then you get a kind of easier way around that way. So I'm probably going to do this. And then we'll widen it out like this. be careful for drowned in this area, because I think it counts as an ocean. Yep, right on cue. Get out of here. We even got a fishing rod. Like so, and then like, oop, I'm sinking, like so, and then finally, so yeah, the idea is that you'd have a pretty wide runoff here, where you would swing in, slide this way, and then it would kind of narrow to here. I think this entire side of the course is going to be ice. So I think this narrowing is about perfect. So we can just fill in this side entirely, basically. Been kind of thinking about potential, you know, anytime we get like a drop in activity, which it's kind of active right now, but anytime we get a drop in activity on the server, I do kind of, you know, wonder what could bring people back. Or like, you know, what would keep people interested and whatnot. I think one thing that kind of came to mind was the idea of bringing back, basically turning off natural health regen again, like we did way back at the beginning of Season 3. I know people hated that back when it happened, especially the builders, because they wanted, you know, they didn't want to have to, I guess, worry about managing their health. And that's kind of the trade-off, like, either, because I basically the argument in my case is like a little bit of extra challenge would make things more exciting, and like you would have to manage your health, you would have to like actually use the golden apples and potions that you have. And, like, when do I ever use a health potion except for fighting the wither, you know? I arguably don't even need potions or golden apples for the dragon. And in terms of the warden, well, first you gotta find an ancient city, and then if you find one, oops, if you like piss off a warden, then you're kind of screwed because you can't kill it. Well, you can, but it would take a lot, and you don't really get much for it. It's not really worth it. But like, it's kind of pointless, I guess, to bring health items, because that laser beam's gonna kill you in one hit, maybe two, if you are like top tier armor, which I don't think I am. I think there's protection 5, right? And these are protection 3. So like maybe I could, like, you know, boost my protection a little bit more, but otherwise, like, if you find a warden, you're kind of done. But like with the addition of UHC mode coming back, like, now you have a little bit of added challenge to the game, because you have to manage your health, and that can create some fun and excitement. Although you would also probably just have people, you know, cheesing the game by, you know, throwing themselves off a cliff every time they dip below full health and stuff like that. I'm gonna go get that regular ice and pack it. That'll give me, what, 9 more ice? Lighting this up is going to be a bit of a pain, but That is okay. But yeah. And then you drive away the people that don't like the gimmick in the first place, who don't want to manage their health and whatnot. But arguably, those people aren't playing the game anyways right now. So, like... So, I don't know. It's just an idea, a thought. Because I don't think I ever hated UHC mode. Matter of fact, when I watched back my old videos, I was talking about how cool it was, how nice it was to actually have to bring, potions and golden apples with me when I cave, and stuff like that. Like, those kinds of things are actually useful now. But, like right now, once you get to your fully enchanted diamond gear, or netherite gear now, like, you don't need health items. So there's no point in having them. Besides just, collecting, I guess. I suppose... And, like, we use them for the Wither fight, sure. We use them for, like, maybe JsanoKart games. Like, if we have a PvP arena with different classes, like, I think Red Star wanted to do that. And, I also would like to do that. That's an idea. Like, that's where you would use some of your items, right? But beyond that, like, there's no point in having them. So, and once you get to your top level gear, it's like the majority of challenge in the game is gone. And so you're left to kind of find other ways to make the game interesting, which would be building things, or, like doing stuff like making adventures and trying to get, other people in the community involved as well. Like I did. And like Weather's Pokemon Center stuff. I think that's another problem that we've kind of always had on the server, is this kind of there's not a lot of community stuff going on. Like, we have a server, but it feels like it's kind of been a long-standing thing since, like, maybe halfway through Season 2, where we kind of just go off and do our own things after a while. And, like, in fairness, people will have different schedules, which is perfectly fine, but, like, I don't know. It feels like we all just kind of go off and do our own thing, which is partially why the world border exists, is to keep us, like, contained within the same area, so that we might potentially, interact with each other more. Ironically, though, that kind of hasn't worked, I don't think. Or maybe it worked at first, but as the border expanded, we all just kind of went off and did our own thing. And that's kind of why I think the Lamo group kind of splintered off. It was because they managed to keep things group-related for the most part. They were like the core group of group players, I guess. And then kind of morphed into their own entity. And now we kind of see a little bit more group-related stuff with Tiny Stranger and the friends that he brought onto the server. So most notably, he and Blurryface seem to be working on stuff together, which is good to see. Or at least within the same area. I have not seen the other friends on recently, but they've at least, kind of, put the multiplayer in multiplayer server, I guess. And like I said, in fairness, like, for me, for example, my days off are Monday and Tuesday. You know, I don't exactly have the most, you know, my job does not benefit my social life in any way, you know. So it is kind of difficult for me to interact with the rest of the server, because when I'm here ready to stream and do stuff like the WWE show, I think everybody else is at work. And then by the time they're at work, I'm done streaming, doing something else, you know. Or it's the weekend and I'm working while they're doing their stuff. So, and the most interaction I can do is, you know, be in their stream chat. So like, yeah, I get it. But I also feel like it's kind of been an issue that we've had for a long time, where we've, for a multiplayer server, we're not as multiplayer as we should be, in my opinion. And some of it's understandable, but others are like, you know, we see these efforts to make more multiplayer stuff happen, like the Pokemon Gym stuff. And it looked like it started out pretty well, because like several people signed up to build a gym, right? The only gyms that have been completed, to my knowledge, is Asus with his normal type gym, and my own gym, which is going to get a bit of a facelift. Not a facelift, but some additions to it. And that's it so far. You know? But, like, that's probably going to be, like, another idea, like Dang City, that started off hot, but kind of died out just as quickly as it began, because people just kind of stopped being involved, I guess. And the adventure stuff, like, I kind of, I guess I kind of, like, force people into doing the adventure stuff. Like, I always pick Shawson to be involved, because I know that he will always include himself. And he always he at least seems enthusiastic about doing these kinds of things. Same with Mucklug. You know, he seems excited to be a part of the adventure stuff. Which is good. But, oh, I'm out. I got blue ice. Where would be a good place to put the blue ice? Could I put it? I could put it in the shortcut, maybe. Or I could put it somewhere along here. I don't know if I'm with the blue ice, because it's supposed to act as like a speed boost. I want it to be like in a group like this, because I don't think a single blue ice block is going to affect things much, but like a strip of blue ice might speed you up a bit. Now I got 12 more ice. But yeah, that's why I kind of forced like Red Star and Naxer to be involved, because it's like, if I just said, hey, would anybody like to do an adventure thing that I'm working on, I'm pretty sure I would get like no response, because people would want to just kind of do their own thing wherever. Oh, Shawson is here. Sorry, I didn't notice. It's on the other screen because OBS still won't load my chat. So, but yes, hello, Shawson. Yeah, I was basically just saying that I feel like part of the issues of lack of activity on the server is the lack of multiplayerness, if that's a word. That's why I'm working on stuff like this JsanoKart track. Um, but yeah, I feel like people are not as interested in doing multiplayer stuff on this multiplayer server. So, like, because you look back through the years of, like, Spider Monkey Rainforest, Dang City, things like that, where things started off hot, but then everybody just kind of went off and did their own thing again, and then interest died out. I kind of feel like more multiplayerness, more of a multiplayer atmosphere on the server would kind of help keep interest in stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, there will be guardrails. That would be kind of interesting, though. But yeah, that's what I was complaining about. Missed that blue spot. Yeah, I miss Rude. I do. Oh, did he give it to me? No, he didn't. Get out of here. Sorry, I gotta address these guys first. But yeah, I feel like if people were more interested in some of the stuff that we do, that it naturally kind of develop more activity on the server. Is the night chilling in Discord and decided to build a mini game with Killer and Dakota. A lot of fun once it actually got started. Yeah. And like more of that stuff, just more enthusiasm, I guess, for things. Like I'm kind of worried that the Pokemon Gym thing might die out because of people not wanting to be on the server. But the concept there is pretty interesting because, like, you're challenging someone to some sort of game. And people can get pretty creative with games on the server. Like, I have an idea for what I want to do with the Leaf Gym, which is part of the addition that I want to add. But, like, I wonder if I should leave these here. Be a bit of an obstacle. It might actually help, even, if you, like, run this over. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but my point was that I fear that whether this Pokemon Gym thing might die out like a lot of other ideas because of just people not being as enthusiastic to work on stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. It's something that I kind of feel like has happened for years. That once we kind of get far enough out to do our own thing, it feels like most people just kind of don't get involved in the multiplayer aspects as they should be. But we need more ice. I wish there was an ice place near here. I have an ice tray near my base. But, actually, I'll show off the gym first. Shawson, are you home or at work or what? What are you doing? Because, we got a couple... Oh my god. I still find it amusing, the uppercut sounds for a boat. You're at work? Okay. I think if I manage to get a car within the next few weeks, I might start doing Saturday evening streams. And maybe then I can finally get the WWE show off the ground. Because I really want to get that done. And if it goes over well with people, then I might make it like a monthly thing. But I feel like it has less of an effect if I just do it myself. I kind of need like one or two other commentators to be involved. But because that could take off. With the first show would basically just be getting everybody's reactions to the player models that I tried to make in everybody's image. Some of them are pretty accurate, like very accurate, but others are like I had to take creative liberties with and stuff. And there's a couple that I like purposely got a little silly with. So I think it would have been fun to like get reactions on that, and then the match itself, and then later on, we could try to incorporate like promos or something if the people in chat or people in the call are also in the match or something. Just fun stuff like that. But I can't do that on Mondays and Tuesdays for obvious reasons, but it is what it is. So, and again, that's another attempt at multiplayerness and community stuff. And like I said, I know other people from all around the world were having different schedules, different times and such. The fact that we can gather anybody for UHC is good. Even if it's threatening to be a single-digit number these days. The fact that we get a few people on the server during those times is good. And we need more of that. We need more stuff like that. But I don't know. Sometimes it comes and goes at times. I remember when we did, I remember the Trouble in Terrorist Town days, and then I remember like the I forget what it's called, Jackbox games that we did. The pandemic forcing everybody to play Among Us. Like, we've had moments, and like season 3's JsanoLand was probably like, I think season 3 in general was like peak JFS kind of stuff, like in terms of quality stuff, especially once we got like you guys in, like Shasta and Dennis and everybody. Like, it breathed new life into the server for quite a while. And we just haven't been able to get back to that, both as a server and as a group, I think. With the exception of like the Lamo group, which I don't know I think even that's gone quiet recently, but like for the most part, maybe I haven't paid much attention to it, but like you get these little brief moments of activity, but we can't seem to string them together into a more long-term thing, which sometimes like I try to force the issue with the adventure stuff, where I don't ask if anybody wants to take part, and I don't just kind of put the adventure out there for somebody to stumble upon. Like, I specifically chose Shawson and Muck because I know that they'll want to embark on that stuff. And then I chose Naxer and Red Star because they were also, Red Star's on the server, and Naxer was on the server for a time. And kind of wanted to get more people involved in that kind of thing. But I felt like those two probably wouldn't be as interested in it if they just kind of stumbled upon it, or if I just had an open invitation. So I kind of had to say, yep, you two, you're getting involved in this. No more, no ifs, ands, or buts. So I already looked in here. I was going to get ice, and I think I left all my boats behind. I think I stole a boat too from Spontown. There might be... I'll just swim. I can swim. I guess it's also fair to keep in mind that we're like all Like, we're not high school kids anymore. We're not the young adults fresh out of, you know, in our young 20s, full of energy and enthusiasm. Like, we got jobs and other nonsense, other adult stuff to do. Yeah. I'm 30 over here. And, like, yeah, we just got lives to live now. It's kind of lame. And, yeah, that's skeleton. That's understandable. We got other things to do with our time. But either way. Trying to be selective with the icebergs out here so that I don't, like, completely destroy the biome. Yeah. Yeah, you have a house. Asus is an adult now. I can't even call myself a young adult anymore. Like I got a full-time job, and I'm working on online classes, trying to get a master's degree, trying to do something meaningful besides, you know, cleaning rental cars. That's not something. Excuse me, sir? Ouch. Also did not give me the trident. So, like, that's fair. But I still kind of miss the good old days. This was definitely something I took down in the past, I believe. Somebody did. I don't think I would take down something this big. I would go for something like that. This is actually a good opportunity to get rid of these. Thank you. I need to find some more blue ice. There's some. Well, that was easy. We did it. We found the blue ice. We found a little bit, at least. I know there's more there, but I want to, like... Oh, yeah, I saw this in the last stream. Somebody else was making a JsanoKart track over here, but, never finished it, I guess. Over here. Let me just tear this down while we're over here. While we're encroaching on that property. But yeah, somebody was starting to work on a track over here. They have the added benefit of doing it on ice. Hello, polar bear. Yeah, they started something here. Looks like I was going to go around that way. And I think there's a house on that island. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, they were going to be... I guess they were going to make a track around the island. Is that all blue ice? This thing? It sure does look like it. Yes. Sir, can you not? Stop it. Don't even speak to me if you don't have a trident. I want to collect all the tridents and never use any of them. Oh yeah, did you hear my rant, Shawson, about not rant, but like I had the idea of what if we turned off health regen again for this season to add a little bit of interest, add a little bit of excitement to the server. I'm sure people would hate it like they did last time, but like I liked it at the time because it was you know, you were able to put some of your resources to use for once. You know, like how often do you use golden apples and potions? You know, you fight a wither, and that's it. But with UHC mode off, or regen off, now you have to use your potions for everything. Now you have a use for golden apples. But then you'll have, like, as I mentioned, you'll have the group of people who will throw themselves off a cliff after losing a heart to reset their health. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put this down. Put all this away. I mean, like, the concept's there. I'd probably drive away all the builders because they would hate having to manage their health and their building. But it would at least add a little bit of natural challenge to the server. But I'm sure that would be shut down pretty quickly. Who knows? That's just a thought. Me refresh this. See what's happening. Nothing. Does this scroll? Sorry. Okay. Just checking everything, making sure it's all working. I'm gonna drink some water. Trying to avoid, like, mouth noises on the mic, because that was, like, one of the biggest issues of watching through my old videos while I'm at work. It was, like, one of the 3 most annoying things of my old videos was my explanations of trivial concepts, my absent-mindedness leading me to take half an hour to explain said trivial concept because I just couldn't maintain my thoughts for some reason. And then, of course, the mouth noises, which bothered me. And because of my poor diet at the time, like, my stomach was, like, chiming in at least once per episode. So, you have these very weird things going on. And, trying not to, do that as much. I got, like, the pop filter on. I'm taking care to, like, lean away from the mic when I drink water. Like, trying to do everything to not be like that still. Oh, ice. Thank you. Give me that. Let's knock down a few more smaller bits out here. Take down this one. Yeah. Yeah, the Bandito destroys the Arctic. Listen, I'm being very selective in my in my iceberg destruction. Like, I could take down that entire thing, but I didn't. Because I'm respectful to the environment. I tear down the small icebergs. And I haven't killed a single polar bear. Although I should. Add it to my trophy collection. But I'm not going to. Alright, let's find our way back. Through the blue ice area. Oh, well. There's no way through. Actually, I want to see this house. Maybe somebody could finish this. Is this Snowy Beach? Yeah, Snowy Beach. Yeah, this is the house that had the, I think it's a shipwreck and a ruined portal, like, right over here. One of the two. And, it was never found until I came along. Pretty barren. Can you not? I was gonna say, better not be a way into the house through there. Yeah, no sign on this. Oh yeah, there is. Oh, it's abandoned. Okay. Yeah, there's a ton of it. Ton of it out here. Oop. That hut used to have a proper name, I think, but that was way back in the day. Yeah, maybe somebody will work on this. What's in here? Oh. That's tempting. But I've grown as a person. I don't steal anymore. I don't loot chests like some heathen. Although, they did say it was abandoned. So, theoretically, assuming that that abandoned hut and the racetrack are owned by the same person, I theoretically could claim it for myself because it's, you know, abandoned. So, like, maybe... We'll see. Maybe I'll steal it off camera. That way there's no evidence. Actually, there is evidence now because I just said I'd do it. But I said maybe. So, Tiny and Tuki's first place? Probably. I mean, if they don't want to finish that track, maybe I could. then we'd have 2 tracks. Let's grab this while I'm here. Oops. Actually, yeah, I'll just cut in through here. There's a portal in there. Oop. Oh, don't want to get stuck in there. I tried to help get this caught up, but the concept's nice. I don't think the cooking, the furnace setup is. I think it needs to be a little bit more extensive than how it is, because it doesn't get enough bamboo to work as fuel. I'm sure if you went, there is lava source nearby, because my base is like right next to it, and the entire floor of my spawn base is lava. So just need to go down there with a bunch of buckets, or you could like make a. Oh no, I was gonna no. I keep thinking that, like, there's some way to, like, auto-craft kelp into kelp blocks after you cook it. Because my thought was to, like, smelt the kelp and then cycle it back into the furnace through the back to use as fuel. But you need to turn it into blocks first. So that doesn't work. But that's what I was thinking for my own setup back there. And I was like, yeah, can't do that because that's not how that works. Very cool. No hands. I'm looking at the stream quality. Looks pretty low. Suppose I should look into that in the future. My hands are here. I'm just not using them to row the boat. They're just sitting there. Under the highway, or I guess through it. No, don't burn me. See, I promise it's a legit science thing or something. I'm not creating a good argument for myself, but it's fine. I know I'm getting close because I can see the giant trees looming in the distance. Here we are. This area out here is going to take a lot of ice. But, the interior portion might not. I wish this packed ice was see-through. I could use regular ice for the bridge portion. I just wouldn't be able to light it up. Although mobs don't spawn on regular ice, they do on packed ice. So it could be doable. We just can't light it up. I don't have any normal ice on me right now. But oh, heck. And we'll do this. Let's switch to that. Do I have blue ice on me? No. Okay, good. So yeah, this part is going to get kind of narrow. And you might get stuck on land over here. Yeah, let's fill in this portion here. I think this entire interior section, this corner here, might maybe I won't fill it in completely. I think that would look decent. Like that. But yeah, you're funneling right into here. As for this, we do need to widen this out, I think. But not by much on this side. I think I want it to be like a pretty tough, like narrow entrance into this shortcut. So we'll do this. So it'll be kind of like that. Oh, get out of here. Then you run right into the spikes. I wish there was a way that I could make the stalagmites fall on them. I think a simple piston would actually do that, wouldn't it? Maybe. But it would be like a one-time use thing. Like someone would have to go up there and put a stalagmite back up. This is going to be a tricky shortcut here. Because you gotta thread the needle, and you gotta do a slight, like, you guys scooch over a little bit on this side. But if you do this part successfully, then you'll have a pretty good advantage. That's the point of shortcuts. They're supposed to be tricky. There's a bit of a risk versus reward to it. I think... Oops, stop. Stop doing that. I think I'm going to keep it that wide. Yeah. So it's only going to be 4 wide at this point. No, I said 4. What if I made a tunnel? Like a tunnel bridge, a covered bridge, over the giant pit over there, where it's like ice, like regular ice on the inside. And I can do like packed ice around the outside, so all you can see is down. And then we can widen, but like only this way. And this will be wider. So, oh. That might hurt a bit. Because, I want to be able... I want people to be able to, like, see down that pit. But, packed ice doesn't allow for that. Oops. Yeah, this should be widened. As this goes. I think I might keep the stone level over here, because that could be a bit of a hazard, a natural hazard on this side. You get too close to the walls, you'll slow down. It's a bit of like a runoff area. What if I left a block or two? Like, what if I just left that? Get out of there. Like, if I left it like that, and you just kind of rode on, I think you'd fly right over it, but maybe it would slow you down a little bit. Yeah, it slows you down. Okay. So if I left that, right? A little bit of a slowdown, but if I did like this, you know, like you could line yourself up sooner, but you'll slow down a bit, or you could stay on this side and not slow down, but you'd be at a bit of a tighter angle going around that corner. So you would not have the preferred line, but you would have the extra speed going towards that corner. And there's also this to slow you down if you're not careful. So there's a bit of threading the needle there. Very cool. do that. Where's our main? This one? Okay. Very cool. Give me that. Okay. That's blue ice. Get all the packed ice out. We could do a speed boost through that narrow bit. I'll come back to it in a second. But yeah, this entire area here is going to be ice. So I got to fill in that side as well. So yeah, most of this is kind of just making use of the natural terrain in here. Like, I'm pretty sure... Oops. So this corner is going to be a bit of a pain for some people, I think. Because you're going to... If you don't slow yourself down well enough, you're just going to come sliding out into the wall here. But... I think that would make for a bit of fun. Do 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 do. So yeah, if you come through here too hot, you'll slide all the way over this way. What was that? Had a bit of an audio blip in my headphones. Let's do this. This is our... Okay. So we'll probably have enough to fill in this section. Yeah. And then we can extend our work a little bit with the blue ice. Bump, 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 bump. 3, 2, 1, 0. That should work. Okay, so this is... Oh, that's also packed ice. Okay, cool. So we can work a little bit further. This is going... I might leave the wood here just to be like a little bit of an obstacle. I don't know if it'll ever be enough to actually slow people down, but it might. We're going to make this a pretty narrow bridge. Well, not too narrow. It's going to be like 4 blocks wide. 4 or 5, something like that. Like so. Let's do this side. Let's grab this first. Oh, that's a whole ass aquifer. That's this aquifer, as a matter of fact. According to my calculations. My extensive observation. Okay. So yeah, you come flying out through this way. Then this is going to be probably a little bit zigzaggy here, but then you gotta like really zigzag it around there. So yeah, let's get the blue ice. Blue ice. Let's put some here. I do like the idea of this being faster. Going through this narrow gap. So I will also drop these. And we'll put the blue ice. I guess this will go too. So this will definitely be a speed boost right through here. But then you have to like follow it up by getting over to the right a bit. Yeah, that should do. So you speed through here. And then you gotta swing this way. And prepare for the corner for this part. Then somewhere along here should definitely be like, maybe I could do like little patches of blue ice through here, like this. And then link this. We can just do a single strip here, where if you hit that perfectly, you'll get a speed boost. And then here, I think I want it to be the regular ice through this section. And then here, I'm going to do, like, yeah, I'll just do a strip down the middle. Maybe I'll do like 2 strips down here, just like this. We have exactly enough? Yes, we do. Okay. So we're like, what, 3/4 of the way done with the cave bit, and then we gotta do all of that. That's gonna take the most ice. Guess we can take a bit of a ride through here. Just riding through here. Whoop. Then right through here. This way. Ooh. That saved me. Then you come right on through here. And like I said, there will be guardrails. We don't have to. So maybe I won't put guardrails through here, but no, maybe I should. Because oh, somebody's dying over there. There's like an accelerated death over here. Might have to work on the angle of that. Let's see. Because, well, no, not quite. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, we'll need guardrails. Maybe not at the end. Maybe that little... Once you get your bearings and go straight through, maybe that'll be fine. I can't really test this side too well. But I want to see how this looks. This is going to be the tougher shortcut. Stop. Okay. Looking good. And we're a little past the 2-hour mark, so I think I will call that the end of the stream. I need to collect my other shulker, I think. But this is something I will be working on for now, for the current project. Yeah, it's tricky. Tricky through that corner. No, okay, I picked it up. You can come around this way, hit off that. You guys suck down into the magma blocks. Get out of here. So yeah, this is the main project we'll be working on until it's completed. And hopefully we can have a race or two on here. Might be some adjustments after some test races. Like maybe I could do like an angled thing here instead of going straight in. But I'll look into that later. And yeah, like I said, if I get a car within the next couple weeks, maybe I'll do Saturday streams because I'll have more time at home. So we shall see. But yes, that will do for this stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching, and I shall see you all in the next one.